Ladies and gentlemen, well, mostly gentlemen, the channel is edging 1,000,000 subs, and if we hit it, I have to platinum Fortnite, which is one of the hardest and most torturous platinums ever. So please drop a like and subscribe right now. Alright, so in today's video, I got the platinum trophy on LEGO Dimensions. This is the last LEGO game I have yet to platinum out of every single one that has been made up till this date and time. And I chose to do this one last because, well, for one, you cannot buy it at all if you don't have the base plate for the characters, considering it's one of those older real-life to video game type games, a lot like the Skylander series, for example, which meant I had to scour the internet to find one that had the required pieces for me to play the game today. And in usual succession, I didn't really spend too much time looking, and I just bought the first one I found, which came out to around $160. I have officially spent my entire YouTube paycheck of the year, and I will now be moving back in with my parents. Please forgive me, credit card company. Where are all my 540 credit score rating motherfuckers at, am I right? Oh, it's just me, okay. But the game finally arrived about a month after I bought it, and it also just totally showed up one day. Like, the package didn't even say it was coming until some random guy in a van just dropped it off. Straight gifted from the gods above. But I started to put it together, and here's a very epic shot of me doing that. However, it turns out the thing was already put together. Yes, the dude or lady that had it prior to me did not take it apart, so shout out to whoever that may be. And the one I bought also came with a few extra characters which I was not aware of, and I had no clue that it would. The bag even still smelled like an old person's house, if you were wondering. Kinda disturbing to be able to still smell the previous owner, but it's fine. So I then plugged the bagger onto my PS5, and it didn't blow up. There was a few issues at first though, just temporary ones. Why does it look like somebody fucking cummed on my monitor? What the fuck? It wasn't me. Turns out the game wasn't actually fully installed when it said it was. Don't we love the PS5 ready to play option? Anyways, I finally got it working, and spoiler, we were set to platinum the game today. No issues at all. A big sigh of relief flushed over me when I realized I didn't just waste almost about $200 on another gaming device. And before we do get into the platinum, I want to say a huge shout out to VexRex for asking me every single day for almost a year to platinum this game on Discord. Bro proved if you stay strong, it will happen. But in total, LEGO Dimensions only has 39 trophies, including the platinum from its main game. There is a ton of DLC trophies, but half of them are impossible unless you have the very many character packs they released. Before the video continues, I want to say a huge thanks to Path of Exile 2 for sponsoring this video. Path of Exile 2 is a next-gen action RPG created by Grinding Gear Games, and they just released the Third Edict update on August 29th, and it's available on literally every platform to play on. The Third Edict is the latest content update for Path of Exile 2. Act 4 has been added, and all of the new content includes 35 new areas, 24 new bosses, and 25 new endgame maps. With the new update, there is also a major rebalance of the 7 playable classes, and in this overhaul of the support gem system, you can experience 150 new notables, play with 12 new skill gems, discover 40 new lineage support gems, and more. And they also made Act 4 completely non-linear, meaning players can choose the order they tackle the islands, creating unique playthroughs, a different experience every single time. Now, this game is absolutely massive, guys, and the platinum on it is sure to be as insane as the previous title, so if you want to get a head start in a future highlight on your account, then use the link below in the description or pinned comment to get Path of Exile 2 right now. And once more, huge thank you to them for sponsoring this video. But stage 1 is to just beat the game's story, and this is the big time chunk that comes with the platinum. LEGO Dimensions is also one of the more odd LEGO games out there. It's not odd in a bad way by any means, it has an amazing story, but it just doesn't have the same type of gameplay that most LEGO games have. For example, red bricks are very hard to come by, and so are studs in general. Numerous mini kits and gold bricks are also impossible if you don't have the physical media to get them, and this is understandable because the game was built for you to use real characters, but like, come on dude, I don't know about gatekeeping stuff like that. Anyways, the game's entire premise is a guy called Lord Vortech steals these LEGO bricks called the foundation elements, which can be used to alter reality, and they're just super powerful. They can also open up portals or rifts to other dimensions, hence the game's name, LEGO Dimensions. And you see the first major crossover and setup happen with these portals between Wildstyle from the LEGO movie, Batman from Batman, and then Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. Shout out to that, by the way, just finished it, good timing. But like I just said, Gandalf, Batman, and Wildstyle are the main trio we play as today, and they're also the original characters of this game that it was built around. The goal they had at first was to just find their friends that they just got ripped away from, but also to stop Lord Vortech, obviously. And this first level is the tutorial of sorts. You literally just grab pieces around this room to build the portal for us to use and go into levels to traverse the entire game in general. And it's also just the same as the in real life portal that you use as you play to swap characters, which is a very big part of this game. And once you do get them both built in game and in real life, mine was already good to go. The first trophy of the game pops called Time to Break the Rules. And then I just started playing the real story story, of course. The way this game's levels work, by the way, is you visit a different universe every single time. And since TT Studios and Warner Bros. Have a very long-lasting deal with content, it meant that we got to go to some very unexpected places. And the first of these was the Wizard of Oz universe. Never in a million years did I expect Batman to try and Scarecrow as Dorothy watched. That's a late-night search on God.
Oh my God!
But within each of these universes, there's always the villain of them still present, because almost every villain of this game has a direct order from Lord Vortech to try and stop us, if not being sent directly from him. And we naturally had to battle the Wicked Witch. Thank God she doesn't resemble the new one. I would have set this game back instantly. We don't need more husbands for Will Smith out there. But after you do battle her, then sends you to do some puzzles, which is a Lego game classic. And I'm not really going to explain what happens in each puzzle of this game's levels, just because Lego Dimensions unironically has the longest level length per level out of any Lego game that is out there. And I'm not joking. It's crazy how long these last. I was genuinely surprised. Also, throughout this entire level, I was trying to only use one person at one time on the character pad to get a trophy called Forever Alone from completing a level while only keeping one character active at a time. And this also resembles my dating life as of right now, so it's just perfect. Shout out Batman. But this level ended with us just sending water on the witch. She then got sucked into a portal, and the boys were still just kind of unsure of how to deal with everything, so we just followed her. And then 2 trophies popped from that level's finish, and then the Alone trophy as well. The following level was then a Simpsons level. Yeah, when I said it got random, I meant it got random. This level is also probably the most cursed out of any. I might have nightmares tonight thinking about this. The last time I saw something that scary was when I looked at my bank account after making this video. Good God. And this level, for the most part, unfortunately, was also kind of bland. You just did puzzles the entire time to make your way through it, but it does end very good with a massive boss fight against the Joker. Love to see our day one still here. He also did try to trash talk us for a little bit after losing in typical Joker tradition, but Gandalf dropped a purple shield on his head and he got sucked into another rift, which we also did follow, and then it ended with another Troy Pop. The next level then took place in the world of Lego Ninjago, I think. Don't hold me to that one. It's been quite some time since I watched it, but these snake people look familiar to that, I guess. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not f with this level. It was one of the most annoying ones in the game. The entire thing I was lost on, and I couldn't figure out what to do, even though it was actually pretty simple looking back at it. And I still don't understand how I can get stumped by these games so easily. They are literally made for children. But the ending part of this level just pissed me off. I spent like an hour at this point getting here, and they decided to just end it off with a Donkey Kong barrel style conclusion. And the guy at the top had this wand gun that could hit you through walls. Why? Why, TT Studios? This is just inhumane. So yes, I crashed out. I'm not gonna lie. No, I am lying. I'm kidding. That's an old picture. I haven't broken a controller in a while. I don't have the emotion right now to do that. But once I did make it to the top, finally, it actually wasn't over, and there was another fight. This game just loves edging, bro. I swear. But it was really more just an intro into color puzzles. You have to do these a lot in the game later on, but it basically has you match colors your character has on them to the base plate in real life, and then match whatever the solution is on the screen. And it's very fun, actually. I love it. They don't make games like these anymore, so we got to enjoy the ones we got. But once solving that, you just go through another portal that opened up, and then the trophy popped from that level also. The next level is in a bit of an odd one, and I have zero clue what media this was relating to. I'm pretty sure it was Doctor Who. I honestly don't know. I've never seen a single thing from the Doctor, but if it was another Doctor, I would have been game. But while doing the puzzles of this level, I did get a random trophy called Too Old for This Shift. From shifting through 50 shift mode rifts. TT Studios are really testing that E for everyone rating right now. That is diabolical bait. But then I just finished that level right after, and it ended with us boss battling a giant, thing. If I was on my deathbed, I could not name this enemy for 5 more years. But hey, it gave us a trophy. Look, wow, so cool. Anyways, the following level was then one relating to Lord of the Rings, actually. And the big Eye of Sauron Tower was just plopped down in a city. And it takes a while to actually make it to the tower. But once you do, it has a lot happen up there. You fight. Yes, that is what we do. But we were trying to get the final gateway keystone, which is that purple shield thing that has been mentioned already. And it's the same thing that knocked out Joker, if you remember. And these are used to make our home portal functional, because so far we have just been following the breadcrumbs wherever the enemies wanted us to go. And that's no way to win against them. But upon finishing the Lord of the Rings level, you do get that final keystone as a trophy. Also, since this is the 5th level, you get your 5th gold brick for the trophy as well. And then naturally the level completion trophy. And the level afterwards is actually the first out of any where you fight Lord Vortech. Now, obviously, we don't defeat him, but it was cool to know that we have his attention after all. And it's entirely taken place in the Wild West level from the Lego movie, if you're curious. I also did take a massive hot shit while doing it, so that's more lore for you all about Its Illusion's day-to-day life. But then the fight did begin at last, and I had a few stages with us just chasing him down more. But then he finally stopped running and decided to fight us. And the fight itself was kind of confusing because you had to take down this Lego barrier protecting him, and only when he was completely vulnerable could you even attack him. And it's safe to say I spent longer here than my last relationship lasted, and that's the sad truth. But once we did win the fight, he just teleported away, so GG's, and here's that level's trophy. The next level was then based off of the Portal games, and I'm not gonna lie, after doing the trophy for this level speedrun, I remember every detail of it very much. Too much even. But essentially, you just go through experiments, as the robot likes to call it, and these are just simple puzzles that can be done pretty easily. And after you do enough to reach this big laser puzzle, you also reach another robot, but this one is the nice guy from the Portal games, and he tries to help us, but he's honestly just more funny, and I'm not gonna lie, I do f with bro. But he also leads us to an escape pipe that also just led into the hardest experiment, so I don't know anymore on second thought. After you do finish that one though, it leads into a boss fight against the evil robot, and the fight is also relatively straightforward. You just dodge attacks to start with, then you have to go through all 3 killer portals and turn off the gas leak when it's available, and finally you just distract the robot and then drive a car through its head. Brutal back shots, them clankers. But that led us into the final room, and I'm not gonna make the joke. I'm not doing it. But you literally just sit around until the nice robot saves us by giving us the elemental abilities. You choose the fire one, put out all the fires, and that's pretty much it. Doing so lets us get to the cake, and this is also one of the foundation elements, by the way, because we are directly hunting them now. The level then ends, and here's another trophy pop. The next level then had us with the Riddler and Middle Earth once more, called Riddle Earth. I see what you're doing, TT. You can't fool me. But the level was actually very simple for it being a Riddler one. And I personally am not excited to hunt 500 Riddler trophies in Lego Batman next year, not at all. But this level just had us go to 3 different spots to activate a lever and shut down the power holding this door locked. And after you do that, you then enter the door and make it to the final area, which had us boss battle the Riddler. And he was also riding that dragon that tries to kill Gandalf for the entirety of Lord of the Rings, his ex-husband, if you will. But the boss fight was actually one of the best so far, and it had a lot of story beats without confusing me too much, which was nice. Once you do finish it, it then ends the level off, and I got no trophy pop. You then go to a level based off of the Ghostbusters, the most fallen off franchise to date. But almost right away during it, I just left the level to go get a red brick from mini kits because I finally read the trophy guide closely and I saw that I needed to get 30 of them. And I only had like 4 so far, which is unfortunate. I've also grown extremely tired of watching trophy guides as I play, and I wanted to do it myself. So I just visited the hub world where the red brick was located, and you actually get a trophy from visiting a hub world for the first time, by the way. But then I found the red brick real fast, bought it, and we were back after it. And this Ghostbuster level was also one of my lesser enjoyed ones as well, and only because it was just kind of confusing and lasted forever. I'm not sure why the TT developers tried so hard to make every single level last almost an hour each time, but damn, they really went after it with that. And the ending of this level, I also genuinely had no clue what to do, literally just running in circles until eventually figuring out and finishing it with the trophy popping. I don't know what's happening right now. Anyways, moving on, you then do the first and last level that tried a different type of viewpoint. This level was all about video games and video games. You first play a 2D type of thing, then it goes to an overview arcade Pac-Man thing almost, and finally it transitions into us driving race cars for multiple minutes straight. I also did take another steaming hot shit. I had a lot of pizza last night and I do not feel okay.
Are you pooping?
But this level's boss fight ends with us just battling the guy we were after, and it's actually a super easy fight where you pretty much just have to hit him and not do too many puzzles. So here's that trophy after it ended. Next up was a level about Scooby-Doo and the gang, and I have some pretty fond memories of Scooby snacks. Shout out to childhood. But it was actually quite long just because it was a very heavy puzzle level. I did get a trophy during it though called Elemental My Dear from entering elemental mode 25 different times. But before that pop, there was also a very fun boss fight against a mummy on train tracks, and we must have just been going in a circle the whole time, but hey, don't ask questions, it was fire. And here's that trophy afterwards. You then fight the mummy again, and the second fight is the traditional boss one, pretty much just consisting of us having him run into these poles over and over for us to stun him. You then hit him after he's stunned, and after 3 times of doing that, which is the golden number in Lego games, you win and the level ends with the trophy popping. So we are now into the end game levels, and these ones were all very big and long. Hashtag not relatable, am I right? But the first one was called Primetime, and it was a very odd level where you had to just for the most part traverse towards this floating thing off in the distance, and that's about it. Obviously doing loads of puzzles the entire time to get there, but once you do, it's the final area and fight, and it actually goes by super quick. You then just see Lord Vortech showcase his newest creation, a combo of Robin, Metalbeard, and Frodo. This is the worst threesome I've ever seen in my entire life.
know you're
but here's a trophy regardless. And before the next level, I did just dip and go get the ×2 stud multiplier, which is the only one in this game, by the way. It also cost 1,000,000 studs. But as I was doing this, I took my 20th rift in the game, and I got a trophy from that right here. The second to last level then took place, and it was called The End is Try, having us pretty much the entire time just deal with the forbidden threesome. But the entire level's purpose had us go in and out of the big robot they're all being controlled by, and just saving them each one at a time in their respectable chambers. First with Metal Beard, then with Frodo, and finally with Robin. And after saving Robin, you also find another foundation element brick like usual, and that ends off the level with the trophy popping. So then the final level began, called the Final Dimension. Great title, game. And this one is entirely about us boss battling Lord Vortech, obviously. First though, you're both just falling through space and time for a while. We also did tickle him here and there for fun because hey, why not? But then there is a giant puzzle section, and I did not enjoy myself here, I'm gonna be honest. But after that, you do finally fight him for real. And once I won the fight, my game also crashed, so I had to redo it all again. $160 for this, goddamn. Anyways, the fight itself is actually very easy. You just wait until he drops things from the sky, then put them together and use them to damage him. The game then ends off with us just kind of ripping his power away for good and shoving him to the edge of the universe with a portal. Bro is gonna despise us forever. But then I got multiple trophies, first for the levels finished, then from 30 minikits collected, and finally from completing all the story levels. So now it's time for stage 2, which is the hub world stage related to any trophies gotten in the various hub worlds that relate to the characters we have. And I got the trophy Dimensional Explorer first from just going to Batman, Gandalf, and Wildstyle's home, so here is that. But then the trophy farm really did set in. First I got the race trophies, which are easiest done on a race in the Lego Movie world because it lasts like 20 seconds. Now that is relatable. And here's the trophy after winning it one time. I then did do it 5 more times, and I won every time, getting the trophy from winning 5 times, and here's that as well. I then went over to the Lord of the Rings world, and I did a simple quest for somebody, which just had us punch a few people and tell them to go back to where they came from. And then you return back to the quest giver to finish it, which gave me the trophy from doing a quest. I also bought a hub world renovation right next to that for another trophy. And we also need to do 15 of these total, by the way, later on. But that was basically it for stage 2, at least the easy trophies. So I kind of jumped down to stage 3 and did some stuff, and also just back into stage 1. But I pretty much just upgraded the Batmobile to Model 2. And that was all I managed to get done right now, but still a trophy pop. And then I unfortunately went after that speedrun trophy on the portal level for completing the portal level in 25 minutes or less. Now there was supposedly a way to cheese this like in the Lego Lord of the Rings speedrun trophy, but I found after an hour of trying that it does not work, so that sucks. However, while I was testing this theory, I did get 2 trophies from completing 25 chroma mode puzzles and 25 locate mode puzzles, both of which are in this level. But then I did do the level normally in under 25 minutes, and this was my final time remaining, which I did screenshot because I'm just so cool like that, meaning I did it in about 21 minutes, and I could have probably done it a little bit faster, but not too much because I was going pretty quick, so I don't think it can be done that much better. Once finishing the level, the trophy popped right here. So all my remaining trophies in this game are just from buying things, except for the gold brick trophy. But this is kind of sad considering I need studs, and getting studs in this game is low-key a grind. I did find a good method though on Reddit, so shout out to this guy that came up with it. But you pretty much just kind of drive circles in Arkham Asylum because enemies spawn infinitely, and with an upgraded Batmobile you can shoot them and also get studs on their defeat. So I just did that for a while to get studs, but the first 3 trophies I got were from upgrading the Batmobile to Model 3, buying its pink paint job, then its chrome paint job, and I then did a few hub world quests and races to get 30 gold bricks for that trophy. Kind of annoying because 80% of things you can't even do unless you have the character, but it's fine, I guess, because it's the trophy pop. And I now only have 1 more trophy remaining, complete 15 hub world renovations. So I just farmed out more studs. Once I had a good sum, I then divested my funds up and I reached 15 total with the trophy popping and the Lego Dimensions Platinum Trophy right along with it. So that was the Lego Dimensions Platinum Trophy experience. Overall, a pretty solid Lego game. My only real complaint was that the levels lasted so long it kind of became a bit of a drag, and it left me not really excited to begin the next one just because of how much of a time suck it was pre-level. A very well made game though, don't get me wrong, that was just kind of annoying part of it. But yeah, that's all for today. Please subscribe, we're almost at 1 million, and Fortnite is calling my name.